Hello my dear students, I am Pratibha Daya from the English Lux. Today we are going to start with the new part, that is part 2 of the chapter 2, the sound of music. The topic of this chapter is the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan from the book Beehive of class 9, written by Deborah Cowley. Outline of our video is detailed summary, moral. Let's start. Introduction. Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. The lesson is about Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was a renowned Shehnai player in India. He was a legend because he did something which has historical significance. He played the Shehnai on the day India got independence, that is 15th August 1947. At the Red Fort, before the Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his speech. Before that, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai in order to signify something auspicious. Something auspicious for the whole country was about to happen. India was about to get freedom, and so on that occasion, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai, and so he was a legend. Moving ahead and directly enter the chapter, we have already covered the part 1 of Evelyn Glennie. Who haven't seen that, go and check that out. Let's move on to the chapter now. Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Meaning of banned is prohibited, shrill, very sharp, unpleasant, something that you dislike. Explanation. Pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the Shehnai. When the Mughals ruled India before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Generic, a name given to a class or group as a whole. Reeded, wind instruments which have reeds like the flute, the clarinet. Explanation. So any musical instrument which is made with reeds, like we have flutes, clarinets, they all are classified as pungi. So pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Revived means brought back to life. As Aurangzeb had banned all these reeded noisemakers, he had banned pungi in his royal residence. No one thought that one day such noisemakers, such instruments which made unpleasant sound, would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Tonal quality, sound. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi. But he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Hollow means empty from inside. This barber took a pipe which was a hollow stem. It was longer and broader than the pungi. He made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. If you have seen a flute, it is something like this. It is a pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. Next is when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. Then he blew air into the pipe, and closed and opened different holes. He found that soft and melodious sounds were produced when he did like this. He played the instrument before royalty, and everyone was impressed. When the barber played this instrument in the royal court, everyone liked the sound produced by it. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. The royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi, so it should have a different name also. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber and was played by a Nai barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. Now there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah was the name given to king. Mughals called the kings as Shah. As the Nai, that is in the Indian term used for a barber, had played it for the first time, they called it Shehnai. So the first part is Sheh, which stands for Shah, and the second part Nai, that is a barber. So this instrument was named as Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, promising to bring good fortune. The sound which was produced by the Shehnai was considered to be a good omen, and so it was played on good occasion. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable, without which a piece of work cannot be done, something which is necessary. You can hear Shehnai being played at many temples and at weddings also. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Ensemble means considered as a group here instruments. The Shehnai was a part of the Naubat. Naubat is an instrument, is an Urdu word. It means traditional ensemble. That means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. These 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court, and Shehnai was also a part of the Naubat. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at weddings. It was used on stage in performances, and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. Explanation: when Bismillah Khan was 5-year-old, he lived in an old estate named Dumrao in present-day Bihar state. He used to play Gilli Danda, an old sport quite similar to cricket. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chettai, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Also, he would go to the nearby Bihariji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would sing this song Chettai in the Bhojpuri language. Bhojpuri language is spoken in an area of Bihar. When he would finish reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as reward, and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was a prize given to Bismillah Khan by local Maharaja for singing the Chettai. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India. the Bharat Ratna. The writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward. And after 80 years, Bismillah Khan earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this is the distance that he has travelled in his life. At 5 years of age, he would get a 125 kg laddu as a reward, and at 80, he achieved the highest civilian award in India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Bakhsh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur king's court. His father Paigambar Bakhsh and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Paternal ancestors means ancestors of the father. Explanation: the lineage on his father's side was full of great Shehnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan ji acquired the skill of playing the Shehnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Shehnai player. He played the Shehnai in the court of the Bhojpur king. His father and all paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. Bismillah Khan ji also started learning music at an early age. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah Khan was fascinated watching his uncles practice in Shehnai. When Bismillah Khan ji was just 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house, to his maternal uncles. Maternal uncles means the lineage on one's mother's side. They lived in Banaras. Banaras is today called Varanasi. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncles play the Shehnai, he was attracted towards it, and he also wanted to learn playing it. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bakhsh was employed to play the Shehnai. Bismillah Khan started going with his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple in Banaras. Ali Bakhsh was on duty to play the Shehnai at the Vishnu temple of Banaras. Ali Bakhsh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Captivated, attracted, on end for a very long time without stopping, means continuously. When Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Bakhsh play the Shehnai, he would get attracted towards it that he would sit there for hours listening to him play the Shehnai. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Gradually, Bismillah Khan also started learning playing the Shehnai, and he would practice throughout the day. He never got tired. He was so captivated by the Shehnai. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the bank of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could visit in solitude. Apprentice, trainee, haunt, place you like come, where you like to visit many times a day. Solitude, being alone, single. For many years, Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Banaras. He would visit the temple of Balaji, temple of Mangala Maiya, and would remain on the bank of river Ganga, where he would practice playing the Shehnai all by himself. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Shehnai. Here we come to know about the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga, it provoked him to improve his performance, and he also invented many ragas that were considered impossible to be produced by a Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan worked hard and invented different sounds with the Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to Allahabad Music Conference. When Bismillah Khan was 14 years of age, he accompanied his maternal uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fiyaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." Recital performance. Ustad Fiyaz Khan, he was a renowned classical vocalist, was impressed by the performance and said that if he would work hard like that, he would make a name in the field of music. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. When the All India Radio started, it's a radio station at Lucknow. Ustad Bismillah Khan started performing from there. Often his Shehnai performance would be on air. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his Shehnai. He played the Shehnai from the Red Fort on this memorable occasion. He poured his heart out into Raga Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. The raga that was played by Ustad Bismillah Khan on the occasion of the independence of India was Raga Kafi. He played it from the Red Fort. After his performance, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his famous speech, Tryst with Destiny. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Taken in by, attracted or charmed by. Souvenirs, things given in memory of a place, person or event. Explanation. Bismillah Khan gave many performances in India and abroad. Some of them are memorable, like the one at Afghanistan. The king of Afghanistan, King Zahir Shah, really liked Bismillah Khan's performance and he gifted him many things which were made in Afghanistan like Persian carpets, etc. So that Ustad Bismillah Khan would remember his first visit abroad, that was to Afghanistan. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Gunj Uthi Shehnai. There were many other people also who were attracted to the Shehnai's music. Gunj Uthi Shehnai was the name of a Hindi movie. It was made by Vijay Bhatt. He was a film director and he really liked the sound of the Shehnai played by the Bismillah Khan, and that is why he named his movie as Gunj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit and one of Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster, record breaker. There was a song in movie Gunj Uthi Shehnai named Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. It was composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan and became a chartbuster. It broke all records. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Gunj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivasa's Kannada venture Sannadhi Appana. Celluloid, old-fashioned way of referring to films. Venture, project that often involves risk, something which has a lot of risk. Although this song was a chart buster, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film, but he composed music for only two films. The name of the movies were Gunj Uthi Shehnai made by Vijay Bhatt and a Kannada movie made by Vikram Srinivas called Sannadhi Appanna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. Emphasize means to lay stress on something. Explanation: Ustad Bismillah Khan would say that he did not like the artificial world of films and the glamour that was there in the film world. That was why he did not compose music for many movies. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Thick and fast means he got a lot of awards and was recognized as many places. Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with awards. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Central Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. Explanation: Bismillah Khan performed all over the world. He performed in United States of America at the Lincoln Central Hall. He performed in Montreal, Australia in the World Exposition. He performed at the Cannes Art Festival and he also performed in Japan at the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahar Mosik Ustad Bismillah Khan. Tehran is located in Iran. Bismillah Khan was so famous all over the world that in Tehran an auditorium has been named after him. National awards like the Padam Shri, the Padam Bhushan and the Padam Vibhushan were conferred to him. Conferred means given, usually an award or a degree. Ustad Bismillah Khan has been awarded with these national awards. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. He said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." Coveted, much desired. When Ustad Bismillah Khan received India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, in the year 2001, his eyes were shining. He was very happy because his hard work had been recognized and he gave an important message to the country. He told all the Indians to teach music to their children because music is the richest tradition of India. He said that even the Western countries wanted to learn India's music. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. Although Ustad Bismillah Khan had travelled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition. He remained rooted Banaras, where he learned music, and Dumrao, where he was born and brought up, were the two most wonderful towns of the world for him. He was so down to earth that although he had travelled all over the world, still he was attached to his birthplace. A student of his once wanted him to head a Chennai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Replicating means making a copy of something. Explanation: there was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan and he wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should set up a Shehnai school in USA. He promised that he would recreate the Temple of Banaras in America for Ustad ji, as he would miss it. Now Ustad Bismillah Khan was attached to river Ganga also. So he asked his student that would he transport the river Ganga also to America? So he wanted to say that he could not leave India. He was attached not only to the temples of Banaras but also to the holy river Ganga. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan, while in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Dumrao." Yearning means longing, having a desire for something. Ustad Bismillah Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he longed, he wished to see India. He wanted to return to India. And then he says that when he was in India, in Mumbai, he yearned to visit Banaras and the Ganga river. And when he was in Banaras, he missed the birthplace, Dumrao, and the Matha where he sang Chattai and was rewarded with the laddu of 1.25 kg weight by the Maharaja. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich culture heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Devout, believing strongly in a religion and obeying its laws and following its practices. Here the writer says that Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of the rich culture heritage of India. His work was beyond the religion barriers. Although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws, but every morning he would play the Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. He considered music to be India's richest culture heritage. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. After a prolonged illness, he was given a state funeral and the Government of India declared one day of national mourning. Ustad Bismillah Khan had been ill for a long time and he died on 21 August 2006 at the age of 90. The entire country mourned the death of the legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day and he was given a state funeral. To sum up the sound of music, we learn how music can bind us together and it is not limited to anyone as it is a universal language. It will help students gain insight into his struggle and hard work. You will learn how hard work and determination can serve us well. It stays true to its name and gives inside stories and facts behind the glitz and glamour of the greatest musician. The story conveys the message in Bismillah Khan's own words. Teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. Another message is that one must love one's country and rise above communal feelings. Thank you for watching this video. Do like, share and comment your views and let me know if you have any kind of confusion. Thank you. Make sure if you have any suggestion and comments, feel free to write in the comment section, and for more videos like and subscribe my channel The English Lux, your key to English, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.